but it is not comparable. It is no way comparable. All we can say is, Shiva's work contains Gautama's work as a small element. It is less than 1% because out of 112, Gautama explored one. And the important thing is he marketed it well and he encouraged thousands of people to take the path. That's his success. But Shiva is a little too inebriated to do marketing. When I first went and witnessed Kailash about 14 years ago, since then I've been going every year. First 2-3 times when I went, the phenomena that's happening there, then I planned with a few people, let's come here and stay for 3 to 4 months, we'll figure out what the hell this is. When I touched a few dimensions of that, then I knew, unless I want to end it here, that's not the attempt you want to do.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I just want to know the basic difference of the way of Shiva and the way of Buddha.
It's very easy to talk about Buddha's way because it's very logical. It's quite simple, actually. And it's very long drawn-out process. Generally, the methods that Gautama gave to people were always a question of a few lifetimes. You can clearly see this today. The Buddhists are always talking about this, particularly the Tibetan Buddhists, who are the best known Buddhists in the world today for whatever political reasons. They're always talking about a few lifetimes of work. So if you have that kind of patience, that you're willing to work for a few lifetimes, Gautama's ways are very efficient, very logical, scientific, step-by-step process that one can take, because this is a path of awareness. The significance of walking the path of awareness is, there are milestones on the way which tell you, you come 1 mile, 2 miles, 10 miles, it tells you where you are. That is the most important aspect. That is, without too much trust or devotion, you can still grow. Because you have a method to hang on to, you just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. It clearly shows you that you're progressing. But with Shiva, there is no such guarantee. And he doesn't fix milestones. You don't know whether you're going forward or backward. But you're going somewhere, that's all you know. It's like falling into your bottomless pit. That sounds terrifying. I want you to understand this. A bottomless pit is the safest place to fall into. A pit with a bottom is dangerous. A bottomless pit is absolutely safe. Your life is done. If you just jump into it, it's done. Simply you fall. If you ever do… has anybody done skydiving? You did? So, if you have a free fall, then if you do not open your parachute for a few thousand feet, you don't know whether you're going down or going up, nothing, it just feels like you're floating around and it's wonderful. Only when you look down, the damn planet is coming at you at a tremendous speed. If this planet is taken off, this is a great experience. Only if you look down. It's just coming at you at tremendous speed. That's the only problem. Falling is… don't understand the falling as a negative thing. Falling is a great thing. Did you ever fall in love? Only when you hit the bottom, then it gets bad. If you fell into your bottomless pit, then there is no problem. So Shiva is a bottomless pit. His methods are very different. But you cannot limit him that way because with 7 different disciples, the 7 Saptarishis, the celebrated rishis of the yore, he taught 7 basic ways in which a human being can explore his consciousness. From these 7, in multiples of 7, it went further, and 112 different ways he explored, and he said, this is all. There's a beautiful story. No time for stories. So, he expounded 112 different ways as to how a human being can attain to his peak. And these 112 are the 112 chakras in the body. There are 114, but 2 of them are outside the physical body. He left those 2 and he said, 112 different ways of attaining when you're embodied. That means every chakra in the body, every meeting point of the energy system, one particular way of attaining. So he did not leave anything out. So Buddha is a small part of his work. I want you to understand. Gautama himself didn't go simply sit in the forest. The 8 years of his sadhana, he spent with various teachers across the country. And the whole spine of this spiritual process, this knowledge, has essentially come from Shiva. Wherever it is, whichever part of the world it is, the basic spiritual process comes from this spine, and it's been taken to different parts of the world in so many different forms. They look so different because these 112 different ways look absolutely different from one another. So what is the difference between Shiva and Buddha is not an appropriate question. Which aspect of Shiva did Buddha explore? He explored the path of awareness, which is one aspect. It's very unidimensional, but the significance of Gautama Buddha is, he's very scientific, clinical. He appeals to the logical mind. But he's like… he also said like this. Many times he was an ascetic, he just sat, unmoving. But many times he was mad, dancing, drunk. He was in all kinds of states because he didn't limit himself to any particular dimension. He just explored every aspect of life. So what you call as Buddha's way is just one aspect of these 112 different ways. And so many others have brought so many other aspects, but individual ways. Of the 7 disciples, of the 7 Saptarishis, the one who walked south means anything south of Himalayas is south. I'm talking to all the Mumbai people. Anything south of Himalayas is south. So Agastya walked south and he became particularly active beyond the Vindhya mountains. You know that story about Vindhya mountains bowing down to Agastya Muni and he never came back, so… you know that story? No. You must learn something about India. So particularly the Deccan Plateau, he spread himself in such a way, every human habitation in Deccan Plateau he touched. Wherever you see, you will hear something about Agastya Muni. And he started this action for rural rejuvenation. He did not leave a single human habitation. He brought spiritual process to everybody's life, the whole population. They say he lived over 4,000 years. We don't know how long he lived, but definitely his lifespan was not a normal span of life, it was extraordinarily long. When you just calculate the mileage that he covered, if you had put a speedometer on him and seen how many miles he covered, you could see it's an extraordinary length of time. We don't know whether it's 400 years or 4,000 years, people say it's 4,000, but definitely he lived very long. And he touched every habitation and made sure a spiritual process became a living reality for them. We are still enjoying his work, I want you to know. The southern part of India is still enjoying his work. A certain, without knowing why, a certain level of settled nature that you see is his work. Because he brought yoga into people's lives without a label, without a format, just like life process. As you wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, cook, eat, all this he made it into a spiritual process, and we are still enjoying the benefits of that. If you look at any spiritual process anywhere on the planet, you will see it is not outside the 112 ways in which Shiva explored this. So comparing Gautama and Shiva is inappropriate. I have great respect for Gautama. He's a great being, no question, his work is phenomenal. He caused a huge spiritual wave, which is still on after 2,500 years. But it is not comparable. It is no way comparable. All we can say is, Shiva's work contains Gautama's work as a small element. It is less than 1% because out of 112, Gautama explored one. And the important thing is he marketed it well and he encouraged thousands of people to take the path. That's his success. But Shiva is a little too inebriated to do marketing. You should do marketing for him. He won't do marketing. But still, generally it's believed, this is somewhere 40 to 60,000 years ago that he started his work. But after 60,000 years or 40,000 years, it is still alive, you can't kill it. You still can't kill it, isn't it? By the time I am done with my life, I'm sure I will leave him little more popular than the way he is today. Emptiness is generally a negative… there's a negative context to emptiness. Everybody wants to be full. Who wants to be empty? But it's in search of fullness that people have destroyed themselves. Tell me, how much money does it take to make your pocket full? If we put $1 trillion, will it become full? If you put $10 trillion, will it become full? No. How much ever you put, pocket cannot become full. There's no such thing. How much does it take? How much knowledge does it take to make your mind full? If you grind all the libraries on the planet and pour it into your head, still it will not become full. How many people do you have to love to make your heart full? 7.3 billion people, still there's room, so it never becomes full. So fullness is an empty pursuit. Emptiness is always total. Krishna said it very beautifully. When Arjuna asked, what is the nature of this damn truth? Because if I ask you, is this it? You say yes. If I ask you, is that it? You say yes. Another moment if I ask you, is this it? You say no. If I ask, is that it? You say no. What is the nature of this truth? Where is it? How is it? What form is it? So Krishna laughs and says, the nature of truth in the existence is such that what looks like poison, if you consume it, it will become the elixir of life. What looks like elixir, if you consume it, it will become your poison. Tell me, in pursuit of fullness, hasn't the whole humanity poisoned their own lives? Haven't we ripped off the planet in pursuit of fullness? When we say Shiva, we're talking about that which is not. That means there is no container. It's not something that can be in a container of any kind, not even in a cosmic container. It is in the lap of Shiva that cosmos is happening, because it's that which is not. When somebody realizes that or experiences that, we call that person also Shiva. This is how Adiyogi got labeled as Shiva, because he touched that dimension, became one with it. And the only way you can know it is by dissolving into it, not by grasping it. You cannot grasp it. Any number of stories, or these are situations which happened. Those who tried to grasp what is there in Kailash, they all merged with it. When I first went and witnessed Kailash about 14 years ago, since then I've been going every year. First 2-3 times when I went, the phenomena that's happening there, then I planned with a few people, let's come here and stay for 3 to 4 months, we'll figure out what the hell this is. When I touched a few dimensions of that, then I knew, unless I want to end it here, that's not the attempt you want to do. So now I just go, just enjoy the magnificent presence and come back. Because if you try to grasp it, the only way you can do it is by merging with it. Not yet time for that. Shiva means, is described very beautifully like this, and today, modern physics is going about saying this very beautifully, as it was said traditionally in the yogic culture. Shiva is like Shava. Shava means a dead body, that means inert. He is not active, just inert. Supreme energy, but inert. So the story goes like this, Shiva was just lying there. Shakti, she's an offshoot of him, but she came and danced. And suddenly he woke up. Because she danced on his body, he woke up roaring, so we called him Rudra. Then he kind of settled down a bit, then we called him Hara. Then he really settled down into an eternal state of stability, then we called him Sadashiva, that means always Shiva. This is… a parallel is drawn. Today, nuclear scientists, or not in the sense of nuclear means today, people think it's all about energy. Not in that sense. Fundamental physics is talking about this. If you create vacuum states, that means absolute nothing states. If you… not inside that, around that, if you pass some electrical charges, suddenly virtual protons and virtual neutrons will get created in the vacuum space. In a space where there is absolutely nothing, not even the electrical charge. Electrical charge is only dancing around that. Because of this, virtual protons and virtual neutrons happen. This means it is possible to create something in that absolute nothingness. So, this is traditionally said, Shiva was lying down totally inert. You will see images like this in India. Shiva is lying down like dead. Shakti is standing on his chest and dancing. This is the imagery that they created. When energy acted, suddenly this inert space exploded into activity with a roar. So he was called a roarer or Rudra to start with. It's unfortunate that everything has to be authenticated by bits and pieces of information that science has gleaned out of existence. It's valuable for technology, but not valuable for realization. The top scientists in the world know that they haven't figured anything. It's only textbook scientists who think they know everything. The topmost scientists in the world have declared, we not only do not know, we will not know, they're saying. Because they know with the present means of exploration, they know where it'll stop. Usefulness you can explore, knowing you cannot explore with the methodology that you have. You shouldn't try to grasp it, you must settle into it. If you settle into it, settle into it, settle into it, it will go to the very core of knowing. How soon or how long, how many years will it take? There's no such thing. If you have the necessary intensity, it could settle in a moment, or it may take 100 lifetimes. Time is relative to the level of intensity and focus it has. The whole problem with this, that most… because unfortunately education is all about the intellect. It's feeding only one dimension of our intelligence, which we call as the intellect. Because of that, we're trying to figure everything logically. That itself is a huge barrier. As long as you're locked up in your own logic, the magic of life will not reveal itself to you. This is why the process is designed in such a way, you simply settle. You don't try to go anywhere, just allow it to just settle down. What settles inwardly cannot go to a wrong place, isn't it? If you're going out, you may end up in a wrong place. You're turning inward, you cannot go to a wrong place. The deeper and deeper you go, you can only go to the source. You cannot go anywhere else. Outward journey you could get lost for a lifetime without knowing what's happening to you. Inward journey is not like that. And inward is not a journey really. It is just settling down. The process, the methodology of samyama is not samyama, it's just a tool. If you employ the tool properly, if you worship the tool, you will not get anywhere. If you preserve it, you will not get anywhere. Tool has to be used. If you use the tool appropriately, it will let you settle down.